Can we dive into the topic of the day without much wasting time? The echoes of adoration, the revival, the power and the truth we avoid.
Chineke, you are a child of God. Since you are of age, you are getting older and older. Ị na-ekiri ụwa na-agwụ n'arụ gị, obi adịrọ gị mma, otu ihe si aga adịrọ gị mma. Anyị bịara izute Chineke, anyị bịara izute Chineke, onye na-atọ ndị ya n'agbụ, maka ịtọ n'agbụ ihe ọjọọ na-achọ n'ezinụlọ a. There shall be a divine exemption. O nwere onye ọ gaghị emetụta na gị. Ọ bụrụ na o metụta na gị, a ga-anapụta gị. Anyị bịara ugbu a ime emume nnapụta mmadụ. And some say they must travel abroad. You mustn't travel abroad to be meaningful. God can bless you while in Nigeria. Pụlọ ọtọdọ nye nwanne gị. Bekoro m dịka ugboro ise, Jesus.
Let me warn you before we continue. This is not a feel-good religious video. This is not praise. This is not an attack. This is a mirror. Because something is happening in Igbo land Christianity today that many people are afraid to talk about. The crowds are growing. The prayers are louder. The miracles are dramatic. But so are the questions. And history tells us one painful truth. Every revival that refuses accountability eventually creates victims. And here we go again. Introduction. Why this story is dangerous but very necessary. Across Igbo land and the diasporas, faith movements are shaping how millions think, vote, give money, and live their life. Names are mentioned daily. Platforms are massive influence in. Names are mentioned daily. Platforms are massive. Influence is unquestionable. Yet, many people are quietly asking, why is questioning seems as rebellion? Why are leaders defended more aggressive than truth? Why does every controversy end with touch not my anointed? These questions are not from unbelievers. They are from the wounded believers. Part 2. This has happened before. Let's take another dive into history. Long before today's pastors, prophets, and prayer grounds, Igbo land experienced powerful revivals. People fasted for days. Villages shut down for prayers. Old lifestyles were abandoned. But history also recorded something else. When spiritual leaders become untouchable, truth quietly left the room. The same pattern repeats. Genuine spiritual hunger, rapid growth, personality worship, silence around excuse, crisis. We are not special. We are all humans. And part 2 says, when faith becomes a brand. Today, revival is no longer only spiritual. It is live-streamed. It's monetized, defended like a political party. A miracle is no longer just a testimony. It is a content. And content must perform. This pressure creates temptation to exaggerate, to silence critics, to protect image at all cost. At this point, faith quietly shifts from service to human control. Part 3. Betrayal, not of God, but of the people. Let me say this carefully. Most people do not walk away from God because of doctrine. They walk away from God because of disappointment. Disappointment when questions are punished, abuse is spiritualized, accountability is called attack, victims are ignored to protect reputation of a man who feels he is above all. When leaders fail or accused, supporters are told ignore it and pray more. But prayer is not a replacement of this truth. Part 4. Real life events and public confusion. In recent years, Igbo faith space have seen public accusation and denial, divided congregations, online wars between followers, blind loyalty versus aggressive followers. Each side claimed God. Meanwhile, ordinary believers are left confused, guilty, and afraid to think that this is not revival, that is emotional captivity. Part 5. The most dangerous sentence in religion today. There is a sentence that have destroyed more faith than any other thing ever, and that is don't ask questions. The moment questioning becomes sin, control has replaced leadership. In Igbo land culture, we said onye ajụjụ adịghị efu ụzọ. In other words, he who asks question does not lose his way. Part 6. Discernment is not disrespect. It is possible that some miracles are real, some leaders are sincere, some accusations are exaggerated, some criticisms are malicious. That is why discernment matters. Blind loyalty is not faith. Blind hatred is not wisdom. God does not fear investigation, only insecurity does. Part 7. What is truly revival should look like, or what true revival should look like. A true revival produces humility, not fear, accountability, not threat, healing, not dependency, truth, even when painful. Leaders who are truly sent by God welcome questions, accept corrections, separate themselves from worship, point people to God, not themselves. Anything less is a warning sign. On this final note, history is truly watching us. Igbo land Christianity stand at a root cross. We can learn from history or repeat it with better cameras. The fire of faith is powerful, but fire without control burns the house. On this closing moment, I ask, if these questions makes you uncomfortable, pause before you react. Truth often feels like betrayal until you realize it was protection. Truth deserves honesty. Believers deserve safety. God deserves relevance, not defense squad. The echoes are speaking. The question is, are we listening, or are we just shouting? This is the end of today. Be wise and answer this question very well. Are we truly listening, or are we just shouting? See you guys next time.